Hey everyone, it's Brooke and you're watching The Vintage Gardener in New Jersey. So the first project I did for this year was to plant some alliums. It's Allium Christophii. I have not had a good experience with alliums. I've planted the Globemaster variety and I've also planted one that was called Grace or Graceful or something like that. They don't perennialize well. I've been doing some research on that. It depends upon whether or not they're Mediterranean alliums as opposed to, I guess, rhizome alliums. Christophii seems to have the best reputation is perennializing, but at the end of the day, it seems like these are plant-like tulips that are going to be short-term. So I will enjoy them, but if they don't come back a second year, that's fine. The other alliums that I planted, the graceful one only bloomed once, and it was 20 out of like 125 that I planted, and the Globemaster came up twice. So like I said, I'm just going to treat these as a short-term perennial, and if I really like it, then I'll just, buy them every couple years to plant them. The next thing that I planted, which is on the same day, were the poppy seeds. With poppies, although I've done some in winter sowing, the solo to cup terrariums, I did just sprinkle some out there. I had so many seeds left over. I just tried to find areas where I could see dirt. The mulch had actually already broken down by this point, and so I just sprinkled everywhere that I possibly could. You can see me, stopping on occasion to kind of push back the mulch and expose the dirt. And this is one of these things that it'll come up when it's good and ready to come up. I am curious to see how many of them are actually going to come up. We got some snow, which does not concern me. What concerns me is the fact that we've had some huge windstorms and those seeds are extraordinarily tiny. So I have a feeling, although I'm going to see some, I don't think I'm going to see as many as I would like, which is unfortunate. But next year I will try again. I probably will just put them in cups if I don't get a lot by this method. Good morning, guys. So it is a balmy, it's about 50 degrees. I just like wearing a hat because it's a cute hat, and on top of that, I always get kind of chilly. But I could tell it's going to be much warmer today, and that is good because I am headed off to Longwood Garden for 2:30. So I was planning to get a lot done in the garden today, but number one, I don't think the tool that I need is going to be here till later. And I want to go to Longwood Garden. So I have a small planting project. I'm really excited. This is the first thing I'm planting this year. And so after I finish taking the dog for a walk, I will give you guys more details on that. I'm back inside. I just ran into my ring light. So I am getting more camera equipment, trying to make my videos a little bit more cinematic. So I got a new phone. I'm not sure if you can tell, but the background is blurred out. It's kind of like it's a cinematic function to short aperture. So I'm trying to do that. Also, I got a camera slider, which I've showed you guys. I showed you footage, but let me show what you can actually do with it. Okay, guys, so this is the camera slider. I'm actually gonna buy more tracks because one thing I realized about this entire thing, oops, hang on, it's not focusing here, is that on each end there's actually a little thread mark so that you can attach a tripod. So if I make the track longer, I can have more support. So this right here is I don't even know what this thing is called. But one thing I can tell you about that is that it just travels along this track, and you could put a cell phone on here or you can put a camcorder, just a light phone. So when I go outside, I'm actually gonna sit this on here, do some time elapse, and you can adjust the speed on top. Let me see if I can show you. So when you turn it on, you can adjust the speed. This end right here, it's got a bumper on it. There's one that's over there as well. And so once if you set it on a certain mode, it'll come here, bump, and then go back in the opposite direction. So I think it'll be really interesting to do a time lapse that way. So we shall see. Okay guys, so I've had my coffee, so let's go over the things that I'm planting. So let's talk about peonies. So I've got a couple different types of peonies that I'm planting, and let me go over those. You guys will probably know that I'm trying to do a peony walk in the promenade beds, and those are for those of you guys who are new subscribers to my channel, I refer to the promenade beds as the beds flanking my driveway, because I like to sashay down my driveway, and I do sashay. And so it's inspired by the peony walk at Hortless Farm. So it goes from white peonies to blush to pink to red into magenta, like not magenta, but like the deep burgundies. So the white section is pretty much all but planted up. So now I'm expanding into the other sections. So the first one is Sorbet. So this is going in the pink section. As you can see, it's pink at outer petals and like a lighter pink fluffy middle. And I'm pairing that with Sarah Bernhardt. So these are the first two peonies to go in the pink section. And as you can see, these are gonna look nice together. I don't think they have the exact same bloom time. I mean, I don't know which one of these is going to bloom first, because peonies do have a bloom cycle. So some peonies bloom earlier and some bloom later. They're about the same height. This one I think is a little bit taller than this one. I don't think I've had Sorbet before, but I'm really excited to plant them. And then in the red section, I'm going with Karl Rosenfelt. I've had this one before in my other garden. It's just a nice deep, it's more like a deep pinky red. And then I have, let's see, Kansas. And I think Kansas is it's red. And then there's Red Gardenia, which is definitely a deep red. So these will be in the red section. So slowly but surely it's coming together. I do have a blush, but let me see if I can find it. Okay guys, I found it. So the last one is Honey Gold. So Honey Gold has like a white blush outer petals and then kind of a yellow center. Obviously this one's gonna go next to the white section, and so I think it's gonna be a nice transition into the pink. There's other blush color peonies and really pale pink ones, so that's what's gonna go in the blush section. So this one gets about 36 inches. So peonies kind of get a bad reputation as being kind of fussy and pouty. They can be pouty if you handle them the wrong way. Now, some of these instructions say that you plant these 6 inches deep. Okay, if you plant your peonies 6 inches deep, you're not going to get any blooms. And that's why people think they're pouty. I'm not sure why it says 6 inches deep. I mean, yeah, these roots are kind of long. And yes, if you want to put this part, like the, ooh, wow, that's actually a sizable root. If you want to put the end, this thick, anchor root down 6 inches, okay, fine. But where the eyes are, I would not put those 6 inches underground. With peonies, the shallower, the better. So when I plant peonies, first of all, I don't think I would dig a hole and stick this down. I think I would lay it like this. I'm probably going to, because of how far this part sticks up above the eyes, I'm probably just going to cover it to like right here. I'm not going to cover it all the way. Peonies, the shallower the better. Just remember something. Most of us are going to mulch. You're going to add 2, 3, maybe 4 inches of mulch. That mulch kind of has the same effect as dirt. So if you're burying this, if you're following the directions on these packets and putting them 6 inches down, and then you put 4 inches of mulch on top of that, your peony is buried 8 inches. It's not going to bloom. So once again, just make sure the shallower the better. Even if some parts of it are sticking under the ground, like just take a handful of mulch, just to like cover it a little, it's going to be fine. Peonies love cold weather. They just do. Freezing temperatures are just not going to affect this bad boy. But yeah, shallower is better. So if you've had planted peonies and you're not getting blooms on them, check the packing to see how deep you buried them, because that's going to have something a lot to do with it. A lot of times I may just do a shallow scoop with my shovel, put it in there, and then like crumble the dirt over on top of it. Like I said, I don't mind seeing my eyes above the ground. So the other thing with peonies that people don't understand is that the reason it takes a long time for them to bloom is because if you're getting them from places like Lowe's, Home Depot, and even some places like, you know, higher quality places, even like Eden Brothers, most of the time the peonies don't have feeder roots. And those are the white filaments coming out of the brown sticky thing. Peonies have to regenerate those in order to bloom because feeder roots is primarily how it takes up the nutrients. The only place I've ever gotten peonies from where they had the roots, the feeder roots very much intact was Van Engelen. And so I got those, I think it was like 2019, I think the end of the year. And I potted them up. Actually it wasn't 2019, it was 2020. Yeah, 2020. And I actually did get blooms on some of them. Not all of them, but some of them. And so that's because they had the feeder roots intact. So I know this year when they come back, I'm definitely going to get, you know, a lot of blooms. So the first year, you're probably only going to get a bloom. If you're lucky, like these, I don't think I'm going to get a bloom on them, period. Maybe. And then the next year, they, you know, once they bloom, then you start getting more and more blooms every single year. That's the thing with peony roots. Now, if you're getting peonies from the store where basically it's already blooming size, just when you're putting the peony in, just plant it level, like plant the top of the level of the dirt in the pot, just put that level with your ground and you should be fine. But once again, do not bury the roots 6 inches deep. Okay guys, last but not least, we've got some lilies. I love Oriental and Asiatic lilies. I had them in my garden last year and I cannot wait to add them to my garden this year. So as I mentioned in a previous video, I'm refining the parterre garden. I'm adding more primary colors and I'm just adding, you know, more perennials, you know, because I like perennials and I like different bloom sequences. So first one up is an Asiatic lily called Blackout. This one gets about 4 feet tall. We'll see how tall it gets in my garden because everything tends to get taller. This is obviously going in the red section. Then I got Salmon Star. I saw this at Mr. Green Jeans last year, but that was kind of expensive to pay for a lily, so I got them as bulbs. So I have 12 of these bad boys. This is going in the orange section. Then in the white section, I have the Casablanca Lily. I pretty sure I had this in my other garden. It's just a nice basic white lily. This one gets 35 to 47 inches tall. And then last but not least, I have Stargazer Lily. And this one gets between 35 to 47 inches tall. Lilies are nice. They're like fuss-free bulbs. It's like probably the one, it's super easy to grow. You're gonna get blooms on it the first year. The plants may be short the first year, as typical, but every single year after that, they're going to get taller and then they're going to sprout little new babies. And so you're going to get one, you know, this year you'll get one stalk, next year you may get 2 or 3, you know, depending upon how fertile your soil is, and that's just going to happen. And then you can separate them, you know, continue to spread them throughout your garden, and it's just the flower that continues to give back. They're saying planting at a depth of 8 inches. Which seems kind of deep to me. I feel like some of these instructions, they're changing. I tend to go a little bit more shallow. And once again, I do that because I'm going to be mulching it. I mulch pretty heavily because I don't use weed fabric. So I have to put like 3-4 inches of mulch down to keep the dirt out. So I probably am going to plant this maybe more like between 4 to 6 inches, and it should be fine because like I said, once you put the mulch on top of it, you're going to be kind of at your 8 inches. So that is what I'm going to get in the ground today. I am going to Longwood. Have to be there at 2:30, so I'm gonna, you know, try to get all this in, which I will be able to do that because it's not like, I mean, I'm using an auger. It's not like I'm digging the holes myself. But I'm just Can't wait to try out my new camera equipment. So we'll see how this goes, guys. So I will come back after I'm finished. Okay guys, as I'm watching this, I'm realizing that I definitely need to have more than one tripod holding everything up, because as the camcorder was moving from side to side, you can see like the video slightly shift. It's because it was weighing that side of the track down. It doesn't do that with my phone because my phone is a lot lighter than my camcorder, but it's just one of those things I have to take into consider in the future. So if I'm not using a tripod, then I need to probably balance it like on a couple of like paver stones or maybe like 2 chairs, and that should take care of the issue.